All right. So, very good afternoon, guys. We'll start with our today's alumni meet. Also, in case you want to interact with the placed candidates, see all the data will be maintained at the reception desk. Okay. So, people who get placed on daily basis, we maintain their details at the reception desk. And if you want to interact with them personally, you can visit the institute. We will connect you with them. So this is a contact number 9632629033. As you know that alumni meet is one of the very important show in PSA because this helps us to understand the syllabus, what we have to learn, what questions are being asked, what is the trending syllabus right now in the market, what are the expectations of the companies. These all things can get cleared only when the place students are sharing their real journey of giving interviews. So without wasting time, let's start inviting the candidates one by one. So I will invite Faraz Malik firstly. So Faraz, please unmute yourself. Very
Hi,
good
sir. Good
afternoon.
afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
So Faraz, you'll have to be a little louder
Okay.
because we're not able to hear you. We want to know.
Is it clear now?
Firstly, yeah, I can hear you
Okay.
now. So we want to firstly know which all companies have you got placed in? What is
Okay.
your lowest package, highest package? And also do let us know, have you already joined the companies? If yes, it's been how many months since you have joined the company?
Sure, sir. Okay, sir. So, while giving the interviews, I got placed into more than five companies. So they were like Go Digit, Persistent System, Pristine Care, PayPal, and Mercedes-Benz. So I'm currently working for Mercedes-Benz, and it's been more than 4 months, I guess. Yeah. And the package, like lowest package which I attained was 8 LPA, and currently like I'm working on 12 LPA. Am I audible, sir? Hello? Am I
Just
audible, sir?
1 minute, huh? Just one
Okay,
minute.
okay. Sure.
Uh, so everybody can join through this meeting ID password. I hope you are able to see that. Yeah. Okay. No, no. The problem is not for online students. There are some offline students here. So the speakers for online students, right, when they speak, it's not that clear. So we're just adjusting that 1 minute. Connected, everyone? Okay. So continue.
Yeah.
Huh.
So should I go again, sir?
Yeah, yeah, please, please.
Okay. So I was telling I've been placed total five companies, I guess. Yeah, they were like Go Digit, Persistent System, Pristine Care, PayPal, and Mercedes-Benz. So currently working for Mercedes-Benz, and it's been more than 4 months, I guess, working with them. And like the lowest package which I attained was 8 LPA, and currently the highest package was like 12 LPA.
Okay, excellent. So currently
Okay.
working for Mercedes-Benz. Now, tell us about the interview questions for us. What all questions you got in your interview, and subject-wise, what
Sure,
concepts of a student should be focusing on more?
sure. Okay. So, sir, the basics are basically core Java itself. Like as the syllabus which you guided us. So I started with the core Java, and mostly in many of the interviews which I've given, they focus on mostly on core Java itself. like exception handling and like different differentiation between keywords like throws, this, and also like regarding Spring Boot, like the framework which is Spring Boot, so differences between Spring and Spring Boot, what all the differences are there, and mainly annotations. Yeah, how does the annotations actually internally works? So the annotations of the Spring Boots, and also how is it better? Like if we compare Spring versus Spring Boot, so which one is better? Which should we go for? Why should we go for that? And yeah, also, sir, microservices. I've also added microservices in my resume. So they've asked questions of microservices like how do we do two services communicate with each other, and what are the benefits of microservices over monolithic architecture, and also like if I want to convert a monolithic project into microservices, what all things should I consider, and what should be my like approach towards converting a monolithic to microservices. And also nowadays they're asking like I haven't given much interviews like from past 4 months, but before 4 months they were asking some of the questions on like DevOps parts as well. So, like, what all deployment tools you used? How did you deploy it? What were the branching techniques which you used in your project? How did you use those? And how many members which you were there, which were there in your team? And some of the part they were, as I included some of the AWS concepts as well in my resume. So they asked some AWS questions as well, like what is EC2, what are instances and all. So right now, I guess these all things are majorly focused there. So
Right.
yeah,
So DevOps concept, right? He's telling they've started asking in interviews, and we have to focus on that a lot, right? Microservices concept is important. And just to add to this, when you put microservices in your resume, then important thing is Kafka. You'll also have to talk about Kafka, mention the things about Kafka, so that becomes important. Fine. Core Java concepts, very important, especially collections, stream API concept. It is like guaranteed questions you can expect in most of the interviews. Okay. And skills to write the programs using stream API. You need to focus on that. And basic programs like sorting of array, removing duplicate elements from an array, palindrome, things like that. Okay. And the project work, of course, very important thing. Why project work? Because without that resume you cannot prepare. Okay. Plus concepts like dockers. So we never asked about this so far in the last alumni meet, so let's ask Faraz. Any questions on dockers did you get, Faraz?
yes, I did get questions on Docker, sir. Actually, since I added that some AWS services in my resume, so they asked some questions about Docker images, like how would you add a stage in your pipeline that you have to delete the Docker images? How did you added those Docker images? What are the images? How are the latest images can be find out from AWS instances and all? So yeah, they are asking if you mention that some AWS services in a resume, they're surely gonna ask about these questions.
Right. Because definitely when you're going with pipeline, Docker's concept is a must there, and students should have knowledge about it. Like what is Docker architecture? How do you create a Docker file? How you create a Docker image? Okay, then where is this Docker image being kept? What is Docker container? Right? So there's all things you people should be aware of it. Are you understanding, guys? So just don't rush up giving interviews. See, first thing is work on your preparation. If your preparation is good, then interviews, when you start giving one or two interviews, later you will get to know the expectations of interviewer very easily. And cracking the interview should not be tough. Otherwise, you'll end up giving 15, 20 interviews and you'll keep doing the same mistakes. Okay? Now, anything did they ask you about load balancers?
No, sir, actually not. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
So anything about Terraform did they ask you?
Terraform also no, they didn't ask anything about that, sir.
Okay. Anything
But
about Ansible?
no, sir. Basically, they were focusing like the mostly interviews which I've given, they were focusing mostly on the core Java concepts. Like I'm comfortable with core Java or not, my coding skills, and my basically is a Spring Boot which I added, like the version of the Spring Boot which I used. What are
Okay.
the
Anything?
yeah.
Huh. Okay. So anything, did they ask you about JUnit,
Yeah,
Mockito?
yes, obviously, sir. So they asked like, how did you use to test your codes, and how did you added like the if you want to add the dependency of JUnit, how did you added that? So yeah,
Right. So, thank you so much for us joining
sure.
us, sharing all your journey of giving interview, because that's very important for the students and also for us to know that what should be the trending syllabus for the students, right? So, as we are going to spend almost 4.5 months on DevOps during our course, and also when it comes to development, our major project is going to be on microservices itself, which will include Kafka. And as he talked about the pipeline concept, CI/CD, we would be working on that as well. Okay. So Jenkins, right? How do we do the setup of Jenkins? Then after that, you will have extensive training on GitHub. So I've not asked him this question, but uh, when you start with your CI/CD, the journey has to start with GitHub Learning and Maven, because this will become the bare minimum requirement. Maven, GitHub, then you will learn Jenkins. And then from there, further things will continue. And Kubernetes, which is again very important part of your syllabus. Okay, am I right for us?
Yeah, obviously, sir. Since
Okay.
from past 4 months, I've been using those tools. Like for the Jenkins you're talking, we're using the Jenkins deployment tool, Kubernetes as well for that containerization. So yeah, these all things not only they'll ask you to work on them as well. So yeah,
Mhm.
you need to be not only like theoretically, you need to be practically also aware about these
So
concepts.
tell us one thing for us. If students mention these skills, let's
Okay,
assume that they do a complete one setup of project on CI/CD practically. They
okay,
learn how to pick the code, and then after that, how a jar file of that is being prepared. Then after that, how you're creating a Docker image, and then
right.
how you're running that. So in case if they learn all this and put that in the resume, can you tell
Mhm.
us how many interview calls they can expect per day?
Yeah, you can for I guess 2 to 3 calls per day. I used to get so, since the market is like right now it is very good, so they can expect like 2 to 3 calls in a day. I guess I used to get more than 3 calls in a day.
Okay, right. So more than 3 calls he was getting in a day. And apart from that, some important tools, like for example, when you're designing your resume, try to also create a separate section about the tools that you worked on. That will also give you a lot of advantage. uh, One more thing I wanted to ask you is about the project scenario
Yeah,
based questions. For us, any scenario
yeah.
based questions you got in
Sir,
your project, and what kind of questions in managerial round they ask?
okay, sir. In most of the rounds, they asked me on my the project which I mentioned. So basically, the scenario-based questions are like, key, how did you? What was your the project flow? So you have to make them understand. Like, ki, yes, I use Spring MVC. So how was your architecture? Which database you used? Suppose if you don't use no, non-relational, you want to use a relational database. What do you do? Like how would you do that? So, and I will tell this thing like they will mostly ask on your project itself, like whichever project you are mentioning there, they'll ask scenario-based question and also give you one scenario according to your project, and they'll ask you to implement in your project. How will you implement? So the project is the most important thing. Like whichever project you are mentioning, just uh, revise it thoroughly and prepare some scenario-based questions also according to that project. So because
Okay.
I face these scenario-based questions like very commonly they're asked.
Okay. And did they ask you any questions that How was the defect allocated to you? Where was the defect being reported? From where the work allocation was happening? Tell me your
Hmm.
day-to-day activity in the company every day. Moment you visit the in the company, how your day would start. Such questions were asked.
Yes, it was asked. Like it was not as much frequently, but yeah, they did ask like what was a what is a retrospective call, and how did you manage your team, and how many members were in a team? How did you contacted your BU part? And suppose if you have any story point, how would you calculate the days? Like how many days would you take to complete that story? So yeah, it was not much frequent, but in most of the interviews, they can ask these questions.
Right,
Like
which
after they
means they
are
have to be having good idea about Jira as well.
right,
Defect life cycle, Jira, Agile, right? What is product backlog? What is, backlog meetings or backlog grooming? What happens in sprint planning? How, user story points are given, right? And what technique they are following to give user story points? What is a Scrum team? Daily stand-up meeting or daily status call or Scrum calls, right? And then, so these all things also have to be prepared. Just don't think of that, you study Java and the interview will be only on based on Java, right? So these things where non-technical questions will be picked. Fine. Okay. So anything else you want to add on for us?
yes, sir. I can add one more thing. Like, since if you are particularly planning for any product-based company, like it's not that for every company I'm saying, but for particularly if you're planning to any product-based company, just prepare yourself a bit on DS part, like data structures part. Not I'm not asking to go into it, but some basic concepts if you really wanted to go in like any product-based because I was also asked like some lead code questions as well. It was not very common, but for particularly I'm saying. So yeah, I can add
So
this thing.
if your target is grade A companies, very big product based companies, then you people can target on that part as well, right? But see, my suggestion is always out of 10 companies, 6 companies matches with our requirement. Targeting that is more appropriate. Just a suggestion, but again, the opinions might be different because first getting a job is what our target should be, right?
Correct, sir.
All right, Faraz, thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us and giving all these valuable inputs. I hope people got an idea about it, that what we have to get prepared on. So let's put this in a structured way. It begins with core Java. Make your foundation strong with core Java. Then after that, you have to learn Spring Boot Hibernate, because only after that you learn API development. Then you learn microservices, and then with that you will use Kafka. You will do a project work on microservices, and then after that you will be learning Linux, then shell scripting, and then you will learn AWS services, right? Which will be like EC2, VPC, right? You will learn infrastructure, creation tools like Terraform, okay, which is infrastructure as a code. Using that, how an infrastructure will get created in your cloud services. Then you will be learning Ansible, right? Using that, how configuration management we are doing it basically. Then after that, you will be learning tools like Jenkins. You have to be excellent with Dockers. You should have good knowledge of Git, GitHub, right? Bitbucket or any other version control tool, how it works. Then you should have knowledge of defect tracking as well, how the defect has been reported, what is the life cycle of defect, what is the different statuses in the defect. Then, okay, you will also learn about the project management tools like Jira, in which how the requirements, in layman terms, I'm telling right now, how the requirement is kept. From there, how the requirement is being, assigned to a particular developer, how he starts working on it, and how the progress of your work is being tracked there. Fine. And based on all these skills, then you have to prepare a nice resume, and then we start with your placements. So this is what is the current approach, what we have understood interacting with the candidates. Is this clear, everyone? Yeah, thank you so much, Faraz, for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, bye. So next we are going to invite Mohammad Shahnawaz Ansari. Very good afternoon, Faraz. Sorry, Mohammed. Right? They all are getting late actually for namaz, but still they're joining us. Right. So let's
Hello,
start. Shahnawaz,
hello. Good afternoon,
please.
sir.
A very good afternoon.
Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Most welcome, Shahnawaz. So, which all companies have you got placed in? Can you please tell us your package details? And we will see decoding the syllabus. If Shahnawaz is also telling is the same syllabus important, or he has some extra points to add. Let's see that. Okay.
Yes,
Ah.
yes, sir. I belong to the August 2020 batch, 22 batch, and I have been placed at Alchemy Texol Private Limited,
Hmm.
and my current package is 8 LPA.
Hmm.
And syllabus is most important, sir. Just core Java part. It is basic.
Hmm.
Important core Java, just
Hmm.
Java 8 features,
Hmm.
Stream API,
Hmm.
and Stream API. All the question is very important. What is stream method use, filter? Then all about Spring Boot annotation knowledge, how about at the rate autowire annotation, all about annotation, and it is must be important for project flow. Project flow is Spring MVC architecture, how to flow the project. You can because you can start the company in work, very important to how to knowledge about flow, Spring MVC architecture, and microservices is very important.
So one thing, microservices, put as many stars as you can.
Yes,
Important.
important, sir, because the as per the requirement company Spring Boot and microservices.
Right. So can you elaborate a bit in microservices, exactly in microservices, what questions you got in interview and what should be the syllabus of microservices? Because microservices is one thing, but in that, what all questions students might get?
Uh, Spring Boot microservices, what is monolithic and microservices architecture, and Spring actuator.
Yeah, Spring actuator,
Mm,
monolithic
Mono,
microservices
yes,
architecture,
yeah. How to communicate with uh, microservices? What is benefit?
how the communication between two
Mm,
microservices will
yes,
happen.
will happen. And internal server communication, and service discovery and API gateways.
Service discovery,
Yeah,
API gateways,
yes. And security in Microservice implementing JWT token or token barrier token.
implementing JWT tokens, Spring security concept in microservices, then
Yes. And then uh,
deployment of
yeah,
microservices.
deployment of microservices, and in company using the deployment in Jenkins file use, and know about very important for Git command, because how to push pull. Then because the very important part ki how to you use in the code, your code commit in branch, your separate create and branch, and commit the.
Right, 1 minute, you went offline. I think Shahnawaz, he went off online. Let him try to connect again. So I'll continue what he was telling from there further. Git commands. All the Git commands, you have to be very good with that. What do you mean by Git push? What do you mean by Git pull? What is the difference between Git pull and Git fetch? What is Git stash? Right? Then after that, you should be aware of the architecture of Git. Fine. Then how will you commit your project? Right? What are Git conflicts, which is one of the very famous interview question. Okay, what is a pull conflict? What is a merge conflict? Fine. Then they are going to, so these are all the standard questions you can expect in your interviews when it comes to what GitHub. Fine. So we have to be prepared with that basically. And he was talking uh, something about, apart from Git, he was telling something else. Let's see. We just got disconnected. No. Anyways, some must be some issue at his end. So we will invite the next candidate. Rahul Kumar. So Rahul, please unmute yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
hey, sir. Good
Yeah.
afternoon.
Very good afternoon, Rahul. We'll also connect with Shahnawaz. So let's continue, Rahul. Uh,
Yeah,
please tell
yeah,
us companies you've got placed in, and then we'll start with the interview questions.
yeah, okay. So, hi everyone, myself Rahul Kumar. I am basically from Ranchi. So, I have done my BTech from Allen City, Bhopal. So, I am 2023 pass out actually. So, I have placed in three companies. One is Infosys, TCS, and Tavan. So, I have joined Tavan and my current package is 10 LPA. So, I'll tell something most where I faced challenges during giving interview, right? So all the questions or all means previous means alumni has given, all are mostly themes. It's based on the requirement and the openings of the company. Okay, if they have opening like one or two, the interview will be little tough. And if they have multiple openings like 20, 30, then you will have a like base level interview where you can expect like core Java question and mostly in Spring Boot at all. And somewhere we are facing challenges means what is our actually process flow means how the project is being assigned, how means the requirement things that process flow. So in one interview I faced that questions. So previously I was not able to
I
answer all the question properly. So the interviewer asked me, so how you got a requirement in the business and how you implement through this. So what is the process actually? So now I'm actually leading a project on this. So I'm as a lead developer. There are two members. So the development part are we are actually handling. So it is a migration project. So previously it was on some other technology. Now it is being shifted to Spring Boot microservices. So this question you can have to tackle like something we are having some requirement analysis with business team. After that we have teams meetings with the required person teams. After that we are assigned the required documents for that, and we have some process diagram what had been involved because it's a migration project, right? So we got all that. After that the task we have to means create a Jira for that and mention all the details for that, and we process our workflow right from depth. After the depth we have to push to QA. After that we have UAT testing, pub testing, and after that we move to prod and all. So and if you ask me about questions, then mostly question are on the
so
basic
one by
Java.
one, Rahul, we will just firstly clarify this. See, what Rahul is trying to tell is when you're working in a project, right? The complete life cycle, software development life cycle, you should have idea about it. Now, the life cycle, that is SDLC, right? Concepts is important, like requirement is gathered, requirement analysis is happening, designing of the requirement, then coding is happening, then testing is happening. And also the practicals to this is how, okay, the user story is being assigned in Jira, then how you start working on it, right? How do you close that particular user story? So these all things you should be clear about it. Fine. Then you should have knowledge about the environments, like what is testing environment, what is production environment, what is staging environment. Okay, what do you mean by development environment? So these all things also, as a part of your course, you focus on that. Fine. So it should not be just that you people are focusing on only core Java, core Java. that's going to help you. Right? Correct, Rahul?
Yeah, because
Huh.
technical question by reading and having the concept clear, we can answer properly. But this type of some question scenario, if you haven't worked that much in project, so we might face miss in explaining the project. So yeah.
Right. So in the interviews, you might get stuck here. He's telling that. He's telling you can get the coding questions, you can get the answers. But when it comes to such questions, you have to be also prepared on it, because finding answers on these sort of questions are little difficult. Okay? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's continue. Huh.
Yeah, so if I tell about the Java question, then all are same mostly based on the orbs and collection part. They are mostly focusing on the threads. And if you come to Spring Boot, all the annotation base and the how means Spring MVC work, profile, what's profile is, like what actuator is and all. So all
Right.
the
I'll just take a pause 1 minute. I'll keep interrupting you. Don't mind, Rahul.
yeah.
One new question, Spring profiles. Now he just now see he's going in sequence actually. He just now mentioned about QA environment, testing environment, production environment. And now he's talking about Spring profiles. Because Spring profiles becomes an important concept in Spring, where you can decide where your project should be deployed, which environment. Okay? So I'll keep interrupting in between, and I'll keep again elaborating things.
Yeah, and mostly, and the question like the difference between what is the previous version of Spring and what is the new version of Spring, what are the changes in security in 3 point or the above version you are getting, right? Because their security level, there are so much changes as per the configuration and all. So they are asking that much. Mostly they ask mostly on the projects as of now, because I am giving interview from last 2 years. Actually, I have been to home. So previously interview question, because previously openings were more, now openings are little down. So the expectations from the interviewer is little high. So they mostly ask on the projects and they give you something coding question and they want the we can do the coding, okay, but we have to properly explain means what's the step flow, means why we are approaching it, what can be the better approach, what is the means time complexity of the code you are means you are designing and all. So they ask like that.
Right. मतलब प्रिपरेशन 2.0 होना चाहिए इन शॉर्ट. आपने कुछ भी पढ़ लिया, थोड़ा बहुत कुछ भी एक्सप्लोर
It's
कर
actually
लिया.
depend, yeah, it's actually depend on the interview to interview. Some interview you can get basic level, but some interview up to that level you can get also. It's based on the opening of the company.
So we can't predict. But see, one is interview. That questions they're asking, I have to crack the interview, join the company. But the other thing is, the more things you know, it is better for you while you're working in a company. Correct? See, combining one subject if you're studying, instead if you're combining two subjects and studying, no, then it's beneficial. And if you combine three subjects, then that is excellent. Like Java, Spring Boot with DevOps. Excellent. With
Yeah.
this Angular, super good. Okay. But just Angular, not advisable. But just Spring Boot, Hibernate, DevOps, you can go with that. But with that, if you add up Angular also at the later stage, this will become a major plus point for your interviews. Okay. Right.
Yeah, as of now, in my company, the DevOps is also taken care by the developer only. So we are responsible for creating the Docker images, means creating the Jenkins pipeline and that kubectls things. I know.
Hmm.
I'm learning
So,
this new stuff. So, yeah.
so for this, firstly, you have to start your learning with Linux, because they will set up Jenkins in Linux servers. Okay. Dockers, again, they will all do the setup in Linux server. So you should know Linux commands. Okay. Right.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yeah, that's from my end. Actually, anything you need to ask or something.
All right. Thank you so much, Rahul, for joining us. We wish you all the best. And Ansari is back because he had
Yeah.
some problem. Ha, bully, bully.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, Ansari.
Yes,
So
sir.
you got disconnected, laptop got restarted all of a sudden. So please continue with your questions. Meanwhile,
Yes, sir. This is the my question, and first, very important part is collection part, because know about collection, how to array list, linked list, and asset mapping. This is used for the companies. Collection part is very important.
okay, collection part is very, very important. Just few minutes back also I was talking about the same. So you have to stay focused on collection part in Java. So that is again a core part. Actually, without that, interviews will not get over. Okay, so that's a data structures part for us. For Java developers, okay, all the data structures, everything, it's predefined in collection concept. Okay.
Yes, sir. And design pattern,
Hmm.
design pattern, singleton design pattern.
Hmm.
Uh, every time interviewer asking, and uh, design pattern, how to create a design pattern. This is very important question. And internal working of hash map.
So internal working of hash map also and design pattern has been a common question nowadays in interview, right? So internal working of hash map, what is a hash table? How does it work? What is the difference between hash map and hash set? So what are the differences between these two things? You have to be prepared with that. Are you understanding? See, अगर आप कोई चीज पढ़ाई कर रहे हो आज के मार्केट में, ऊपरी ऊपरी पढ़ाई करके इंटरव्यू क्लियर करना चाहते हो तो भूल जाओ. Because the mindset of the audience आज भी ऐसा ही है. In 2 months can I get a job? Can I get placed in 2 months? Forget about that. You cannot. आपको सारी चीज अच्छे से करनी पड़ेगी. ठीक है? Right. Next.
Yes, sir. Just I'm started to preparing
Hmm.
just how to survive in company. Not I'm started the uh, because I am starting the Java
Hmm.
part is end. How what
Hmm.
is Java? So I'm
Hmm.
starting to how to survive in company, not to
Hmm.
preparation for how to clear interview.
Hmm.
So last time I'm just facing some issue, but
Hmm.
I'm preparing for hard working. Then I
Hmm.
have no issue at company
Hmm.
work culture. I have survived
Hmm.
in,
Hmm.
and
Hmm. So it's telling your preparation should not be only to crack the interview. It's telling your preparation should be such that when you join the company, you are able to cope up in the company with the hard work that you do. So just don't prepare for interview with some definitions by hearting it. You will by heart some definitions. You give interview, you crack interview, your practicals are not good. Again, there is going to be a problem for you, right?
yes,
So
sir.
practicals is very, very important. And debugging, ये ध्यान रख लेना, debugging आना चाहिए. Okay? हाँ.
Yes, sir. Debugging is very important because your something you getting error. So how to without debugging, about where is the code breakpoint. Debugging is most important for the company.
Right. So debugging is, see, small, small things when we miss out, no, we are actually losing out a lot of learning. Now, debugging is very, very crucial, right? When you're working in a company, because most of the time when you join company, it would all be maintenance projects, meaning project has been started almost some 7, 8 years, 10 years back, and coding is been doing. People have been doing coding in that project from 8 years. Now you join that project and you need to analyze the flow of the code. So that's where debugging skills becomes very, very essential. Are you understanding? Okay. Yes. मजा आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है बात करके? समझ आ रहा है अपने को क्या पढ़ना है?
Yes,
हाँ
sir.
तो हाँ, तो ये सारी चीजें अब हम ये सारी चीजें करंट बैचेस में इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं. Got it? See, our DevOps batches are going on 8:30 to 9:30. One more DevOps batch we have started at 12:30. We have started with the Linux classes, microservices with Kafka, project work, Dockers, right? At least some 15 plus services in AWS, at least some 15 plus tools we will be focusing on. Debugging skills, correct? And core Java. So these all will be the part of your learning, plus Angular, TypeScript at the later stage. Okay, right. Now, anything else, Ansari?
No, sir, just follow the sir guideline. Every class is very important. You can practice, then more perfect. Every class is very important, and project is very important.
Right. So thank you so much, Ansari, for joining us. We wish you all the best. Now
Thank you,
I'll be
sir.
inviting one more candidate here, Durga Prasad. So very good
Very good
afternoon,
afternoon.
Durga Prasad.
Very good afternoon. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. कैसे हो भाई Durga Prasad?
Sir, I'm fine, sir. I'm super good. How are you,
Right.
sir?
I'm fine. He's my offline student, so I know him.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
So,
First of all,
huh,
thank you for giving this opportunity, sir.
yeah, most welcome. So, Durga Prasad, tell us about the learning strategies, preparation strategies, how the candidates are supposed to prepare, and what
Yes.
all things they should learn. This is a very open and transparent show. So जो भी सिलेबस आपको ओपन लगता है, राइट, कि ये बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, बच्चों को सीखना चाहिए, सारा चीज स्टेप बाय स्टेप हमें बताइए.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, all. I am Durga Prasad from January 2024 batch, and today I want to share my journey because I truly believe that when one person gets a job, it's not just that person life changes; it impacts on their entire family. I come from civil engineering background, and my pass out year is 2020. And firstly, I thought IT is not for me, but everything changed when I attended Alumni meet just like this one. And I heard stories from the people successfully transcend into IT. And that gave me hope. More importantly, my brother Akash, who is from January 2023 batch, he also got a place and referred me here actually. He is my biggest inspiration to take this step actually. Coming to Bangalore was the first time that was a huge decision. Many of my friends from Hyderabad told me, "Why you are going to Bangalore? You would have joined institute in Hyderabad. We have more. Actually, Hyderabad is meant for IT industry. Many coaching institutes are there in Hyderabad. But I trusted my brother words and I decided to go for it. Some of my friends they stayed back and Hyderabad and they did full stack courses, but till now they haven't received, they didn't got a single offer letter yet. That's why I realized that success is not just about the learning, it's about learning from the right place and right person. That impacts more actually. When I joined first, I didn't even know what is Java was, but I followed the process. I moved into a PG nearby. I'd attended every single class, and I spent countless hours in the lab for practicing. like uh, there was a moment when I felt low and lost, but Pankaj sir was always there, not just to teach, but to guide us on exactly what needs to be done at the right time. He's motivated all kept for going forward actually. My biggest reason I got placed was the people surrounded myself with, my friend Rohit and Sailesh. They are my close friends, played a huge role for my journey. The three To be honest, we three of us placed together, we used to do the mocks every day and pushed each other forward. And today I'm happy to say that just not me, but also Rohit and Shailesh, they are also got blamed. The most exciting part, like I got placed while I was still running my course. Actually, I never expect that could happen so soon, but it was because of the right guidance and practice and consistency. And today I'm standing here, like I feel proud to share that I received more than 10 offer letters. Some even offered 20 plus LPA, but I carefully thought I chosen to join in CMS Infotech as a Java developer with an 8 LPA package. But the most important part of journey is that the happiness it brought to my family. The moment I told them I got placed, I couldn't feel their relief, their pride, and the joy, because when one person get job, it changes the future of the entire family itself. Looking back, I realized one thing: just follow the sir, everything will be fine. If I would have doubted myself, I wouldn't be here today. Actually, the right guidance and consistency and the mindset can you take you anywhere. To all of you here today, trust the process, put the effort, and your time will come definitely. That's what I have learned from the PSA. It's it gave my second birth. Actually, I need to tell. Before I used to prepare for government examination, which I from past 4 years I have prepared, which couldn't that much easy for me. So after all that, I got the place that no, that could made me relief so much.
So this was kind of a very the speech where a lot of things uh, has in fact impacted all of us. One line: when someone gets a job, it's not just you, your family also basically is experiencing that success, and that's very very true. See, when such things happens, no guys, what happens with the trainers like us is we start working more seriously towards what new things we have to get it for our students, what new things we have to implement. And trust me, you might see me here as a person that sir aa rahe, lecture de rahe, ja rahe. But behind the scene, there's a lot of efforts which we keep putting it to design the curriculum whenever the market changes. And now, when there is a drastic change in the market, I am spending almost six hours to work on, right? Right now, the current situation I'm talking about, six hours I'm working on, okay, to get the best content in the classroom, right? So you would start seeing a lot of changes. Like we started all the new classes, and we've been, creating the things where नोट्स बनाने में टाइम लग रहा है, नोट्स क्या देना है टाइम लगता है, क्लास में क्या सिखाना है टाइम लगता है. बट वेरी हैप्पी टू सी दैट कि जब बच्चे सक्सेसफुल हो जाते हैं तो हमें हिम्मत मिलती है कि चलो अभी काफी काम और करना है. सो वेरी नाइस, and thank you so much Durga Prasad joining here. But now back to you about the
Yes,
interview
sir.
questions. Please guide us about the interview questions, what our students they have to focus on, right? Please tell us.
Yes, yes, sir. Sir, first of all, they need to know definitely the core Java part. That first, like foundation needs to be so strong. So they need to learn core Java compulsory. After that, they need to know the what exactly how does Spring Boot work internal, like a hash map work internally and Spring Boot, and they need to know the microservices part. Nowadays, like in every organization, they are following the microservices. So how do they convert monolithic to microservices?
Okay.
And moreover, they need to know even how to deploy the things here. Like nowadays, the interview questions are getting tough day by day. Before, when I used to give the interviews, it was not that it's like moderate question. Nowadays the questions is also the the increasing capacity. They are increasing the tough level of the interview questions. Why? Because they need to select the best person, so they are asking the tough questions in the interview, so that if you are good with the core Java and collection part, and also like microservices and deployment, if you know all round, no, so that we can crack the interview very easily. That could be helpful, sir.
All right. So sometimes it happens. The aura of the person is such that when you start speaking to them, you start feeling positive. tell me one thing. Didn't you started feeling positive after listening to Durga Prasad? Yes. At least that confidence will stay with our students for a week's time at least. Yes. Okay. So thank you so much, Durga Prasad, for joining us because he mentioned Shailesh and Rohit, which are there in our today's list. Because he was telling हम तीनों placed हो जाएंगे तो तीनों साथ में join करेंगे alumni meet, right? So you can stay here, Durga, 1 minute. We'll also
Yes, sir.
invite Shailesh and Rohit.
Okay,
I'll
sir.
add a pin. Please unmute yourself, Shailesh. And
It's been eight
let me
eight
also
week
invite
placed, sir.
Rohit. Rohit is not here. I don't know.
No, sir.
Yeah,
Rohit,
good
are you here?
afternoon, sir.
I think he got held up somewhere. Yeah. So Rohit, if you're here, drop a message. We'll unmute you.
Hello.
Yeah. Shailesh, start. Yeah. What's your qualification, companies placed?
Okay. Good evening. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Shailesh Yadav. Basically, I am from Ajamgarh, Uttar Pradesh. करंट कंपनी में सीजी ज्वाइन किया कैब जिमनी, जो कि मैं मेरे जितना भी मैं इंटरव्यू क्रैक किया हूँ 7-8 कंपनी का मेरे पास ऑफर लेटर आया। हेलो।
Okay. We are able to hear you. We are able to hear you.
ओके ओके। तो मैं 6-7 कंपनी में, जो कि सबसे पहली मैं 2024 जनवरी बैच से हूँ, जो कि मेरा प्लेसमेंट अक्टूबर में ही हो गया था। दुर्गा सबसे पहले दुर्गा का हुआ, फिर रोहित का, फिर हमारा हुआ बाद में। तो अक्टूबर में हम लोगों ने प्लेस कर लिया था। फिर कुछ रीजन की वजह से मैं नियोसॉफ्ट कंपनी थी उससे मैंने छोड़ दिया। फिर मैंने अभी रिसेंटली ज्वाइन किया है सीजी कंपनी।
Okay. So
यस।
आप ये बताइए, what was the study plan between you three friends? Like Durga
ओके।
Prasad, Shailesh and
यस
Rohit. तो आपका स्टडीज
सर।
डेली आप कैसे करते थे?
हम लोग डेली का स्टडी सर, जैसे कि हम तीनों एक दूसरे से हमेशा मिलते रहते थे, लाइब्रेरी जाते थे, कहीं इधर उधर आना जाना होता साथ में करते थे। जो कि मेरे को नहीं पता था कि वहां पे मैं उतना किसी को नहीं जानता था। बैंगलोर में मैं फर्स्ट टाइम पहुंचा था, तो उस टाइम हम हम मिले थे, ऐसे ही नॉर्मली मिले थे। फिर अगली आपसे इंटरेक्ट होता था, आप मेरे फिर
अच्छा,
ये
आप
लोग
और
तो बाद
दुर्गा
में।
प्रसाद साथ में हो क्या?
हाँ, दुर्गा प्रसाद और
नहीं,
रोहित
अभी
को
अभी
हम
साथ में हो क्या?
लोग।
No, sir.
नहीं नहीं
No, sir.
सर, हम लोग साथ में
अच्छा,
नहीं
दोनों
है।
का माइक ऊपर
तो
नीचे
हम
हो रहा है
दिल्ली।
इसीलिए पूछ रहा हूँ।
Sir, let me mute
नहीं
myself.
नहीं सर।
हाँ, आया आया। हाँ,
तो मतलब हम तीनों का प्लान यही होता था कि कैसे स्टडी का प्लान करना है, कैसे क्या। तो अगर हम किसी चीज में फंसते थे तो रोज, और ये सब सारी चीजें ऐसे ही चलती रहती थी। और फिर कोई भी इशू आती थी तो हम दूसरे से करते थे कि कैसे हम लोग ये सिचुएशन को हैंडल किया जाए। जब हम तीनों से नहीं होता था तो हम तीनों आपके पास जाते थे, जो कि आप हमेशा मोटिवेट तो कर ही देते थे सर, कुछ भी हो। कोई भी इशू आती थी तो आप एक तरीके से हम लोग के पेरेंट्स की तरह गाइड किए।
right. So Shailesh, thank you so much for joining. Now tell us the interview questions, which you
अ,
feel it is very important.
ओके सर। सर सबसे पहले तो मैं ये कहना चाहूँ, जो ये कोर पार्ट है, कोर जावा तो मस्ट है, जिसमें उस कॉन्सेप्ट और उस कॉन्सेप्ट हो गया। और उसके बाद अपना प्रोजेक्ट का फ्लो, सबसे पहले कि हम जब भी इंटरव्यूअर को कन्विंस करने के लिए, या स्टार्टिंग का जो फ्लो होता है, अगर आप कॉन्फिडेंटली हम बोल रहे हैं तो इंटरव्यूअर आपको कैसे भी करके मतलब इतना वो नहीं कर पाएगा। जस्ट लाइक कि वो जज नहीं कर पाएगा कि क्या है कैसे है। अगर आप सबसे पहले अपने प्रोजेक्ट का फ्लो आप समझा ले जा रहे हो, और उस तो वो इंटरप्ट नहीं करेगा आपको प्रोजेक्ट में, कि किस टाइप से प्रोजेक्ट में JWT टोकन इम्प्लीमेंट किया और कैसे किया। और इसमें सिनेरियो बेस्ड क्वेश्चन भी नहीं डालेगा वो।
Right. So clarity while speaking on the concept. That's very,
हाँ
very important.
और जस्ट लाइक स्प्रिंग बूट में देखा जाए तो स्प्रिंग बूट में जनरली एनोटेशन ही पूछते हैं, कभी कभी तो वो लोग एपीआई लिखवा लेते हैं। जस्ट लाइक मेरा ग्लोबल लॉजिक में भी निकला था, तो ग्लोबल लॉजिक में उन्होंने पूछा कि कितने एपीआई तुमने बनाई है, तो मैंने मोस्टली बोला कि 20 के आसपास बनाई है। तो वो लोग बोले कि ठीक है 20 एपीआई का तुम वो लिख के दो, तो मैंने सब कुछ किया उस टाइम पे। पर ये सब चीजें फिर उसमें माइक्रो सर्विस ने पूछा था कि माइक्रो सर्विस एक दूसरे से कैसे कनेक्ट होते हैं, माइक्रो सर्विस का मेन काम क्या है, माइक्रो सर्विस और सिंगलटन डिजाइन पैटर्न क्या होता है, दिस टाइप क्वेश्चंस करते हैं लोग सर।
Right, Shailesh. So see, one thing is very very important. Microservices तो time डालना ही पड़ेगा, सीखना ही पड़ेगा, because वो
जी
must and should हो गया, right?
हाँ हाँ, यस सर।
Right.
और आज
So any
आज के टाइम पे कॉल्स के लिए सबसे बड़ी चीज रेज्यूमे में आपको माइक्रो सर्विसेज, काफका एंड रैबिट, मतलब एनी मैसेजिंग क्यू कुछ तो ऐड करना, ऐड ऑन करना पड़ेगा। कॉल्स का फ्लो तब बन रहा है, अदरवाइज कॉल्स का फ्लो बहुत कम हो जा रहा है।
मतलब ये चीजें, okay. So ये चीजें जो है, it is like
जी
you're telling, ये डालने से कॉल्स फ्लोज अच्छा आ रहा है, और ये चीज नहीं रहा
जी
तो कॉल्स फ्लोज नहीं आ रहा है।
हाँ, यही सर मैंने कुछ अपने जूनियर्स को भी गाइड किया, वो लोग अपने रेज्यूमे में मेंशन किए हैं, उनको कॉल फ्लो इस टाइम पे काफी अच्छा है।
Okay. So Durga Prasad, unmute yourself. You said you wanted to give few tips to the students.
Okay, yes, sir. Actually, the thing is, while giving the interview, the self introduction they need to tell in a proper way so that they won't ask you the related your company or else like anything about exactly what project you have worked on. That is the first tip I wanted to tell them. And if you don't know the answer, don't tell wrong answers blindly. Just tell like, sir, sorry, sir, like I didn't know the answer. If you give me a time, I will learn these things. I'll brush up the things. It's been a long time. I haven't done these things. So that if we give the proper answer to them, that could make sense there, sir. Like if you don't know the answer, if you're giving whatever that you get it like on the screen, if you're telling that, it could not that much easy. Like it does not make sense there.
Right. Don't give wrong answers. If you don't know, tell them, I don't know. I did not come across this topic. I don't have much knowledge on this, but definitely I will start my preparation on this as well after the interview. Don't give them wrong answers. Give your introduction properly. So before you start your interview, take a sheet of paper, write down everything, plan properly. How will you start your introduction? What all things you are going to speak, and all that nicely. So there should be a proper procedure while giving interview. Okay, so this all planning needs to be done. Huh.
And moreover like don't compare yourself with any other person, sir. Like people use like initially even I used to feel like few people used to give the interview and I used to say them, I used to feel like even I need to give the interviews without preparing. How can I give the interviews? That is a very bad step that wants to be like cleared.
Right. So when friends are giving interview, just listen to that how they're giving interview. So that will give you an idea. One thing, if you want to experience how interviews happens online, you can just sit next to them and you can listen to them how interview questions are being asked and how the answers are being given by your friend. Fine. Okay. So thank you so much, Durga Prasad and Shailesh. So I think Rohit got held up with some important work. हाँ
Thank
हाँ
you so
बताइए
much, sir.
शैलेश.
No, Silesh
Yeah.
is on mute.
हाँ
हेलो।
हाँ.
That's it from my end, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay
It's
right.
been all
Yeah.
your
Fine.
success, sir.
Yeah. Same to you. Same to you. Bye bye. So guys, we had Rohit. I think he would have got held up with some work. Anyways, we have Yamuna. Yamuna P. She's here. So Yamuna, very good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah,
Am
very
I
good
audible?
afternoon. Yeah, you're audible.
So first of all, I want to thank you. It was a great opportunity for me to learn from PSA. Uh, Thank you so much, sir.
Most welcome, Yamuna.
Since like I have got placed into companies with the packages of 7 LPA and 6.5 LPA. Currently, I'm working. Let me tell about I'm the password year of 2020. Uh, Let me tell the questions they asked in the interview process. Basically, they focus on core Java parts like OOPS concepts, exception handling, collection parts. Mainly, they focus on collection parts and Java 8 features also. For the more coding parts, they focus on Java 8 features. And apart from that, they focus in collections like in the depth they're going to ask like implementation of hash map, concurrent hash map. All those are the questions they ask, and even the threads also they go with the like in the depth in the threads concept. Then they go with like how will you connect with serverless, the advanced Java concepts as well as, and then with databases also, which are the database you have worked with, and in the Spring as well as the Spring Boot also they will go out like annotations used in Spring Boot, line profiles, actuators, which are the annotations you have worked with, and yeah, and they more focus for me. They focused more on the Spring security parts, just like how do you implement JW tokens, and in the like coming to the manager round, for me they asked like in what are the modules you have developed, then how did you use the JWT tokens? It's like implementations of the JW token. What are the APIs you have developed? And apart from that, they are more about in the Spring security, like OAuth implementations. Now they focused on they are the certificates in security, like SSL certificates, TLC certificates. They mainly focuses on OAuth and certificate parts. And and they ask the questions is like how do you connect with third parties, this is all the questions like what rest template, but rest template is being deprecated, so they go with the web client now, and they also focus on Java 17 features is also, like currently company they go with 17 features is in done 8. Then I got in the DevOps part, like GCP, like Google Cloud Platform. In that, like how do you connect with Jenkins? Uh, yeah, that's all I got in.
Right.
I'm implementation of security, like IAM security. They focus on that much. Yeah,
Right.
even with like GitHub version controls is like how do you connect to push, pull, and how do you merge? All this they are. So they mainly focus on your project. How did you develop a project? Like how did you use JW tokens? How did you implement that? And where did you use OOPS concept in your projects? Tell me any bugs did you what to say fix? How did you resolve? And tell me any difficulties you have faced in your projects. All this they are questions like scenario based. They ask them in the manager round.
Right. So OAuth, this is something which we will have to work on Spring security, and we'll definitely train you on that. SSL certificates, right? So we will discuss on that in your Spring security classes. We will definitely get that for you people in our classroom training, and we will also be teaching you on that. Is this clear? So probably next 7 days later, people who have finished Spring Boot and Hibernate, for them, we'll start with Spring security classes separately. Fine. And there, we will try to take these points, what Yamuna is telling, and we will try to add up these things. Is this clear? Okay. Anything else, Yamuna?
Yeah, that's like they focus on more of like for me they focus on GCB like Google Cloud platforms. This is like how do you implement securities like IAM implementation
Hmm.
and like how do you connect with like third parties is like from the client how do you connect like REST template or the client that you asked and Java 17 features also they focus more on that and debugging, yeah, more concepts. And collection part is like majority it is hash map they're gonna ask.
Right. Noted, Yamuna. So whatever our place students are telling, we have made a notings of that very well. And
Yeah,
we
even Jenkins also, so CID and CI/CD pipelines is
yeah,
like how
that
do you
was all.
connect to with cloud as well as AWS also.
Anyways, this all we will be taking it in a detailed manner since we'll be spending 4.5 months on DevOps. So we should be able to cover most of the things in DevOps, right? So that will be taken care of. Nothing to worry. But yes, 1 O auth in Spring Security is what we were not taking it, which we will add that up as a separate lecture in Spring Security. So few things which we need to add up, will definitely take this input. It is all been noted by us, what our place students are telling, and we will start working on it accordingly. Is this clear, guys? Yes? Okay. So Monday by 6:30, 6:30, no, 7 o'clock, I'm starting off with Docker's classes. All my existing students, they've been waiting for Docker's classes. In this week itself, I was supposed to start, but I had some batches important syllabus going on. And I did not want to take the syllabus separately, individually, and repeat the same thing. So 7 o'clock in your same Kafka batch, which we created, I will be starting Docker's classes then, which will go on for near about to some 6 to 7 days, right? And we will try to explore in detailed manner Dockers, how to configure Dockers in Linux, Docker architecture, how to write a Docker file, how to create a Docker image, right? Then after that, we will also study a Docker hub. We will see what do you mean by a container, then how an application, how basically our Docker container runs, what is the purpose of Docker container, right? Docker commands, this all we will take care of it. Is this clear? Slowly we will try to move ahead with that, and you should get excellent idea about what Dockers. So Monday, 7 o'clock, we will keep this batch. You will get a message. It will be in the same batch, which is Kafka. Okay, that's where the tools training we will be taking. All right, guys, bye-bye. Take care. We'll meet up again in the next class. Today evening, we have special classes for people because yesterday I could not take the batch. 6, 7, 8, and even 8:30 batch. All will be there. Okay, because I did not take DevOps batch yesterday. So Terraform, one part was pending. Students, I'll be taking that up. Then after, we will start with Ansible. So today we'll discuss about what is Ansible. We will look at how to set up Ansible in your AWS. And in 6 o'clock batch API development, I will be continuing there further. And 7 o'clock batch, I think we're talking about Agile and Jira. So today I will finish that up. So today's class, we will wrap up with Jira. Okay, and then the non-technical questions I will be discussing in August batch. Okay, that is the plan for today. Fine, guys.